is going on, everybody? Welcome to Talkin Sports with Jake. We are doing a little sports talk today. We got the NBA Finals Game 3. That is tonight. A couple days off. That's why I've been hyping it up the last couple days. Warriors and Celtics, Game 3, tonight, 9 o'clock on ABC. Sixers tied 1 game apiece. Boston took Game 1, absolutely thrashing Golden State in the fourth quarter, which led to a come-from-behind victory. And Golden State won Game 3. They used a big third quarter to help them win 107-88, which ended up being a blowout. NHL Lightning got even last night. They beat the Rangers 4-1 last night in Game 4. They tied the series up at 2, so the home team has won every single game. It's been a common theme throughout this playoff. You look at the Carolina Hurricanes, who lost just one game at home. The only game they lost at home was Game 7 of the second round against the Rangers, and the Rangers won 5-1. But I think they were 0-7 on the road, and their numbers when it comes to like goals per game, goals allowed per game, their special teams percentages are like night and day. You know, you've had a lot of series like that where the home team has dominated. Now, in this series, the home team's won every game. The Rangers swept the Lightning at home the first 2 games. The Lightning did the same in their building. So, Game 5 will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock on ESPN and ESPN+. Series shifts back to Madison Square Garden in New York. Huge game. Eastern Conference Finals. The winner will face the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Final. They already completed the series sweep of the Edmonton Oilers in the World Conference Finals. As for MLB Scores from yesterday, we had Guardians over the Rangers 6-3, Reds over the Diamondbacks 14-8, Marlins over the Nationals 12-2, Orioles over the Cubs 9-3, Tigers over the Pirates 5-3, Rays over the Cardinals 4-2, Braves over the Athletics 3-2, Yankees over the Twins 10-4, Rangers over the Guardians 6-3, Astros over the Rangers 4-1, Phillies over the Brewers 3-2. Phillies had 2 home runs off Josh Hader in the 9th inning. That snaps Josh Hader's 40-inning scorer streak. White Sox over the Dodgers 4-0. Blue Jays over the Royals 7-0. Red Sox over the Angels 6-5 in 10 innings. Angels losing streak reaches 12. They have now lost 12 straight games. Of course, we got breaking news. Angels fired their manager Joe Madden yesterday. Madden was in his 3rd season with the Angels. He was let go. Phil Nevin, who was most recently was the third base coach with the Yankees. He's now an assistant coach with the Angels. He has been named their interim manager. Padres over the Mets 7-0, and the Rockies over the Giants 5-3. We had last night in the doubleheader between Texas and Cleveland. Marcus Semien had 7 hits and 3 home runs. First guy to have 7 hits and 3 home runs in one day since Joe Morgan in 1973. We got some more golf news. Of course, yesterday we had the breaking news with, of course, Phil Mickelson not only joined the Saudi Arabian-backed LIV Tour, Dustin Johnson followed them. And now we have some more news. Former major champions Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed are now joining the LIV Golf Invitational Series. Their first event will be just outside of London. It will be in England, just outside of London. Starts this week. DeChambeau and Reed are not in the field quite yet, but they will play in its next tournament, which will be on June 30th through July 2nd, which will be just outside of Portland, Oregon. Patrick Reed was originally scheduled to play in the Canadian Open this week, but he withdrew today. Both are qualified to play in the U.S. Open next week. The USGA announced that anyone who qualified for the tournament can play in the U.S. Open, no matter if they're a part of the PGA Tour or if they're part of the Saudi Tour or whatever their affiliation is. Which is interesting because the PGA Tour Commissioner, Jay Monahan, threatened to permanently ban any player who played on the LIV courses. There's been a bunch of guys who have gone to that tour now. That being said, Dustin Johnson, as well as Kevin Na, Louis Oosthuizen, Sergio Garcia, Charles Schwartzel, and Brandon Grace, they resigned from the PGA Tour. Since they're not a member of the PGA Tour, the PGA Tour cannot discipline them. So I guess they use that kind of a loophole. But Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau, I don't believe have resigned from the PGA Tour. Bryson DeChambeau, he committed to play in the Travelers Championship, which takes place later this month, which is in between the U.S. Open, which he won last year, and the second tour event for the MLB Tour. DeChambeau said last week at the Memorial Tournament that leaving the PGA Tour was not worth the risk. He said, "I think that's mostly a lot of it's private. There's not really any conversations that need to be made about that, other than the fact that like every person out here has their own opinion on it. Me, there's obviously a lot of conversation. For me, I personally don't think that at this point in time I'm in a place in my career where I can risk things like that. He has won at least one major. He won the U.S. Open last year, and he's won quite a few tournaments. He's been a big part of all the Ryder Cup teams the last couple of years, but he is still young. They've both been battling injuries. Patrick Reed, who of course won the Masters in 2018, he's been battling. He's been sick. He said he had double pneumonia, even though that was a thing. Double pneumonia. Goodness gracious, double pneumonia. Ouch. Double pneumonia in August. At one point, said he was fearing for his life. And then in the last year, he's missed 4 cuts. Only has one top 10 finish, which was the Charles Schwab last month. And DeChambeau has been battling an injury, and that's kept him out for a little while. I think he had some sort of wrist surgery, kept him out of the PGA Championship. No, excuse me, he had a torn hip labrum, so he had the hip surgery. He says he had it for a few years, and he also hurt his hand last fall. He said he slipped when he was playing tennis in a February tournament in Saudi Arabia. Ouch. He had hand surgery in April. He's only played in one tournament since. He missed a cut last week. That was his first tournament he had played since the injury. He's missed a cut in 4 of his last 5 tournaments. So it's been a tough go-around for DeChambeau, battling a lot of injuries. He played with a torn hip labrum for a few years, and then he hurt his hand and had to have surgery on it. He's been struggling since he came back. Justin Thomas had some comments on it. He said, "I thought a lot about it, and it's just like people are entitled to choose as they wish. Like I don't dislike Dustin Johnson now. I don't think he's a bad dude. I'm not going to treat him any differently. He's entitled to choose as he wishes. Now I'm disappointed, and I wish that he and ours wouldn't have done it. But that's their decision. I've said it all along. God can do as they wish. If they want to go, they can go. If they want to stay, they can stay. Selfishly, I know the PGA Tour is the best place to play in the world." And then he said, "I wish it wouldn't be taken away from the great storylines and things that are going on a tour that's been around for a very long time, and it is one of the best places it's ever been. I'm just bummed that those guys won't be part of it." And Sky Scheffler, who of course won the Masters, and he's having an incredible season, he talked about it. He said, "I haven't really noticed anyone missing this week, maybe outside of DJ." That's all he said. So he basically said, he really doesn't care. The only guy that he's really noticed not being there is Dustin Johnson, just because Dustin Johnson is such a huge name. One of the best players in the world. So the Saudi Arabian Tour, they're getting a lot of guys. If you ask me, this is kind of the PGA Tour's worst nightmare. I said in the past, they don't care if, Sergio Garcia, who's, from Spain, a Spanish player, of course, who's playing the PGA Tour for a while, but is, past his prime and only has one career major, a guy they thought was going to be the next Tiger, and then playing one career major, goes and plays them on tour. They don't care if Louis Oosthuizen, who's an international guy, goes and plays them on tour, or any of these European guys like Kevin Na or Brandon Grace. They don't care about those guys. It's, Dustin Johnson, Bryce DeChambeau, and Patrick Reed, who have also joined that tour. Those are the guys they care about. And the reason that they're going is because, it's a chance for these guys to grow the sport that they play for a living and that they love, golf, into other countries. Of course, this league is backed by Saudi Arabia. Their first tournament's going to be in England, and the second one's going to be in Oregon, but their first one will be in England. Also, these guys are getting a lot of money. Phil Mickelson got almost $200 million to go play on this tour. Dustin Johnson got around $125 million to go play on this tour. And I'm sure DeChambeau and Reed, whose figures are not been released yet, I'm sure they got lucrative offers as well. And even guys like Charles Schwartz from WSU, I'm sure got a pretty penny. So they're offering them millions and millions and millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions. And how, like I said, Phil got 200 million. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. This could be a major breakthrough. All right, and we had some WWE last night. We opened the show with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes came out, tore a pec and all, couldn't even move his left arm. He did like a really emotional speech. And Seth Rollins came out and he said, like, Cody, I don't like you, but what you did was, very brave, and I know, I'm the last person you want to hear it from, but Dusty Rhodes was proud, and he shook his hand, left the ring, and Cody was leaving the ring. He was on, at the top of the ramp. He was like saluting the crowd, and Seth Rollins came out from behind and hit him with a sledgehammer in the back, and then dug it into his torn pec after ripped off his shirt. And Cody Rhodes refused to leave on a stretcher, and he walked out of off the stage on his own power in a lot of pain. We'll probably won't see him for quite a while. Other news that happened on WWE Raw: we have the 24/7 Championship, Dana Brooke versus Becky Lynch. Well, first, Becky Lynch was in a match with Dana Brooke, and then the 24/7 Championship. People, they all interrupted the match, and Becky Lynch was like, no, it's not going to happen like that. We're going to restart this match, and you're going to defend the championship against me, and she did, but Asuka came out, distracted her, and eventually held down Becky's foot, so she couldn't kick out of the pin attempt from Dana Brooke. Referee didn't see it, so Dana Brooke steals the win, retains the 24/7 Championship. We had Riddle defeated The Miz in a match. The Miz and Maurice were doing a promo, then Riddle came out, and they were going back and forth, and then, Riddle challenged him to a match, and Miz was like, no, and his wife wanted to do it, and they tried to leave, and then kept going back and forth, and eventually they fought in the match, and then Riddle beat him. We had a tag team match, the Street Profits against the Usos, and the Street Profits won via countout. We'll see where that leads the Street Profits. That was a championship contenders match. We'll see if the Street Profits end up fighting the Usos for the tag team championships. Of course, they have the Raw and SmackDown tag titles now. They beat RK Bro a couple weeks ago. We had Veer Mahan beat Dominic Mysterio by disqualification. It's a pretty good match. They're going back and forth. Dominic was just trying to, run around the ring and try to, just stay away from Veer. And right before Veer was about to lock in his submission move, his finisher, Rey Mysterio came in and kicked him in the face and knocked him out of the ring. So Veer wins by disqualification, but Dominic, escapes being, probably kept out of action for a long time again because he would have gotten very hurt. In shocking development, Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day, which was a faction with Edge, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest, but then the three of them turned on Edge. Raw, like, you had a little, like, advertisement towards the beginning of Raw that the Judgment Day was going to be naming a new member, and the three of them come out, and then they were all talking. Edge was like, oh my god, Rhea Ripley is growing so much, and Damian Priest is growing so much, and now we have a new member. And then Finn Balor comes out, and everyone's confused. Like, wait, what? Because he's been a feud with them along with AJ Styles and Liv Morgan. And then, Edge said, I've been a big fan of you for a long time. I've told you that in the past. Welcome to Judgment Day. Why did you decide to join us? And he's like, oh, thank you, Edge, for the kind words. He's like, when I was in your match last night, I started to realize, what your message was. I was very impressed with you guys, so I decided to join. Stop being someone I'm not. And Damian Priest started going. He's like, Edge, like, you've done a lot for us, and you've taught us to, block out the distractions, but you're also a distraction. And then they beat the crap out of him, ended up hitting him with a chair, on the back of his neck with his face, slammed from in between two chairs, basically. They beat the crap out of him, put him through an announce table. That was shocking development. So now the Judgment Day is now Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. We had Omos against Cedric Alexander. Omos beat him in about 5 seconds, and then the Derby Dogs came out and kind of like interrupted Omos as he was getting out of the ring. they were like top of the stage doing an interview, and then MVP's like, "Yo, like, why are you interrupting us?" Very rude. And then Dolph Ziggler super kicked MVP, and then as they try to leave, almost right after him, and that's the last we saw of it. I just thought that was pretty dumb. Like, almost be such. I was saying like 5 seconds. You could have made it a little bit longer than that. And then to have like the Dirty Dolls come out so abruptly, and then and then like and then they started arguing, and then Dolph Ziggler kicked MVP in the face, and almost was running after him, but we never saw like any sort of chase backstage or anything. I thought they could have done a little bit more than that. Then we had Ezekiel. He beat Otis in a match. And then he came out and said, like, all right, yeah, maybe I didn't get the job done. I lost to Kevin Owens, but I want a rematch. Kevin Owens came out and said, all right, I'll give you your rematch. I'll give you your rematch if you admit you're Elias. And he said, all right, I'm Elias. Kevin Owens was like, oh my God, I win, yes. And then Ezekiel's like, dude, I lied. You're really stupid. Kevin Owens got pissed. He tried to go after Ezekiel, and then Ezekiel like basically punched him in the face. Next week will be Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens on Raw. And then we had, in a fatal four-way women's match, the winner would go on to face Bianca Belair Money in the Bank. Rhea Ripley defeated Doudrop, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss. So Rhea Ripley will fight Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. And that's for some NFL news. I went over a bunch of stars who were not at OTAs. Let's say another one that I did not mention was DK Metcalf is not at mandatory minicamp the first day. Mandatory minicamp started yesterday. He's not there right now because he is still talking about a contract to him to Seattle Seahawks. So as of right now, he is not there. Of course, if they blew up their team, they traded Russell Wilson away. They cut Bobby Wagner. There was rumors, what other guys like Jamal Adams and Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf get traded. DK, he's extension eligible, got 2 years, including a fifth-year option. That's on his rookie deal. Of course, one of the best receivers in the league. There's been speculation that he might be traded. Seahawks have been very adamant that they want to trade him, they want to keep him, and they want to extend him. But he clearly wants an extension, so he's not a mini camp while they talk about a possible contract extension. There's a bunch of guys who want new deals. Deebo Samuel, DK, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, even Terry McLaurin wants a new contract. A bunch of guys who want to get paid. So we got some news. The Cleveland Browns have excused Baker Mayfield for participating in mandatory minicamp that starts next week, so they are allowing him to not be there. Obviously a very difficult situation with the Browns quarterback situation, with Deshaun Watson now to 24 women accusing him of sexual misconduct. And NFL has not made a ruling on suspension yet, which is ridiculous. They got to wrap that investigation up. It's been over a year at this point. And Baker not wanting to be there. Now, and the Browns, want to trade him, but they can't find a trade partner. No one wants his almost $19 million guaranteed salary. Whatever reason they don't want to cut him. Baker's an adamant he wants to move on, but if they need him to start a certain amount of games here because Deshaun Watson's out, will Cleveland change their mind and start him? Will Baker be willing to play for the Browns still? Will the locker room, respond well to that? That'll be very interesting. Very interesting how we've already had 2 managers fired. It's June 8th. Already had 2 managers fired. 2 very established managers. Joe Girardi, started with the Phillies. Guy's been around a long time. He was with the Marlins a couple years. He was with the Yankees for a very long time. He won a World Series there. He just got fired by the Phillies, and the Angels fired Joe Madden. Also in his third season there, he, of course, was with the Rays for a long time. Took them to a World Series, and he was with the Cubs for about 5 years, and he won a World Series with them. So 2 teams already down their managers. All right, guys, I'm just going to end it there. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.